Coming up on today's episode, are Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins taking a hiatus from WWE, and Andrade may be dropping his US Championship soon. Plus, we've got a recap of last night's heartbreaking episode of SmackDown.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Stacked News and Stacked Review. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell. To kick things off today, let's have a recap of last night's Friday night SmackDown in about 5 minutes. The show opened up with an awesome Support WrestleTalk sign, thank you to that fan, whoever you are, but then it actually opened up with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross hosting a Moment of Bliss with Carmella. And as far as Moment of Bliss segments go, we've seen how terrible they can be, but this one was pretty okay. As much as listening to them talking about celebrity crushes and Carmella's friendship with Bayley isn't my cup of tea, I'm sure it is for some people, and they all came across pretty naturally in this promo segment. Carmella spoke about them being best friends before Sasha Banks came along and ruined it all. Bayley interrupted, and while it took her a bit to get into it, her promo was also pretty good, talking about taking Carmella under her wing in NXT and beating Bliss and Cross in a handicap match last year. This led into Carmella not wanting to wait for her SmackDown Women's Championship match, so they have it right there and then. This was a pretty good match. It got a decent amount of time and had some drama towards the end, with tight roll-up sequences, Carmella kicking out of the Bayley to belly, and Bayley rolling out of the ring after being hit with a super kick. The finish came when Bayley rolled up Carmella with an illegal pin to retain her title. Bayley then attacked her after the bell, which brought out Naomi for the save, and Carmella and Naomi stood tall after the segment. The crowd helped this match along so much, and they were hot for the whole night. And look, another awesome Support WrestleTalk sign. Man, Vancouver wrestling fans really are the best. After a quick recap of King Corbin doing his thing last week, we're reminded that he's been barred from competing this week, which I'm sure will definitely stop him from getting involved. Bayley is backstage saying the next time she defends her title will be at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia, which means the match is happening after all. It's confirmed later in the night that it'll be Naomi versus Carmella next week to determine which of them will be facing Bayley at the show. Next, there was a nice video package about Lacey Evans, who keeps letters from fans in her boots to remind her why she does what she does, which was touching. She'll be on SmackDown next week, presumably to set up her next feud. Sheamus has beaten both Shorty G and Apollo Crews quite comfortably, so now I guess it's time to face both of them at the same time. Gable and Crews got in some decent offense in this match, but Sheamus bro-kicked both of them for the win. I'm more into Sheamus beating two people than one, but I'm even more into giving him a proper program with someone. Up next, it's the immortal Hulk Hogan live via satellite, just like Goldberg last week. Hogan says some generic stuff about the NWO going into the Hall of Fame this year, before saying that the Fiend had better watch out for Goldberg, brother, at Super Showdown, brother, because he'll take him down, brother. This gets interrupted by Bray Wyatt on the Firefly Funhouse set, which was pretty funny. What was odd was that they teased a match between the two, Wyatt and Hogan, at some point down the line, with Wyatt saying there's always room on the wall for Hogan, and Hogan saying he'd see him at the Hall of Fame. I literally could not be less into seeing Hogan wrestle a match, so pretty please don't make this happen. Something I am into, though, is Sami Zayn being hilarious. He and Cesaro are in the ring staging a protest concert, in protest of Strowman and Elias. Zayn has a ukulele and Cesaro has a cowbell, but before they can get started, Elias comes out to mock them, and with a hot crowd behind him, he enters the ring to listen to their protest song. Cesaro on the cowbell was funny, as was the quip about needing way less cowbell, but of course it all devolves into a brawl, with Strowman coming out and knocking out security guards, which I guess Sami has now, and he and Elias absolutely launch one of them into the stratosphere, which is always fun to watch. This was good. And now finally it's time. We've been waiting for it for weeks, and finally it's Mandy Rose and Otis's Valentine's Day date. Throughout the night we've seen Otis getting ready for the date and Mandy sitting at the table waiting, and now the date is here. Otis psychs himself up to go into the restaurant, roses in hand, but as he does, Dolph Ziggler's there, places a hand on Mandy's shoulder, and then they sit down and are being poured wine? Ziggler, you How dare he? After Otis has wanted this for so long, this was a great segment, and Otis played it perfectly, dropping the roses and walking out. Now I'm just curious to see what Mandy's reason for sitting with Ziggler is, because she could have just said for him to sit down until Otis gets there or something. We don't know. And earlier in the night, Otis got a text saying that Mandy was running late, but she wasn't. She was there before Otis. Maybe Otis has been tricked to turning up late. There's so much drama. But now it's time for the main event of Miz and Morrison versus Roman Reigns and a mystery partner who is revealed to be Daniel Bryan, which the crowd popped massively for. Miz and Morrison cut a promo before the match that is as good as always, and the match itself was great. All the things you'd expect from a SmackDown main event tag match. King Corbin came out to sit at ringside, having bought a ticket for a desk chair in the front row? Do they do those? Corbin admittedly doesn't get involved in the match too much, aside from it being a distraction for Reigns, which is entirely Reigns' own fault. There were some near falls and close calls towards the end of this match, with Bryan saving Reigns from a skull-crushing finale near fall before Reigns eventually pinned Miz with a spear. Immediately after the match, Corbin gets involved and hits Reigns with his scepter and scampers away up the ramp to end the show. So that was the show. Press the eye above my head to let me know what you thought of it by voting in the poll, where you can choose from Smacknificent, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle, Smackdowner, and a Smack in the Face. Now, I've seen quite a lot of negativity towards this show online, and I'll be the first to say that I've been negative towards SmackDown in recent weeks, but this was actually much better than what we've had recently. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was leaps and bounds ahead of the past 3 to 4 weeks of shows. The Otis date was great, the wrestling on the show was high quality, the Strowman and Elias beating up security was fun, the promos were good. It was just a good show. There's still some ways to go to reach the heights of Raw and other weekly wrestling shows, but a step in the right direction. This SmackDown gets a high smack bang in the middle. And now, as always on a Saturday, hot tag to me for the news. Before we get into the news, a quick thank you to Float Like a Butterfly, Samad Ali, for being an awesome pledge hammer on Patreon. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are WWE's newest power couple, or at least they were until it was announced that Charlotte Flair was dating Andrade about a week after Becky and Seth went official. Damn it, Charlotte, can't you just let her have this one? Becky is the current Raw Women's Champion, and Seth is the new Jesus, I guess. And being a champion, or a messiah, can have a bit of a strain on your body, and sometimes you just need to take some time out and think about other things. This is apparently exactly what's happening, with Tom Colohue reporting that Becky and Seth are set to take a hiatus from WWE following WrestleMania 36, possibly to let them go and get married and rest their bodies for a few weeks. Colohue said in his report, "There are rumors now that both her and Seth may take some time away after WrestleMania to recharge. Maybe go and get married and to let the fans breathe a little bit, because absence does make the heart grow fonder. So we'll see if that happens. That is only what I hear though, it's nothing concrete at the moment, I want to make that very clear. But it is what I'm starting to hear, so it would make sense for Becky to lose the title at WrestleMania." Becky has held the Raw Women's Championship since WrestleMania 35, when she beat Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in the main event, so it would seem to make sense for her to drop the belt at Mania. It's quite clear that WWE sees Baszler as a less mainstream replacement for Ronda going forwards, and with the 4 Horsewomen connection, you can definitely see the title changing hands. Finn Balor did something similar last year. After losing to Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam, he took time off, got married, got a tattoo, and returned to NXT, so clearly taking time off can only be a good thing. But it also does turn you heel, I guess. Wait, don't do it, Becky! But a part of why Raw has been the WWE main roster show to watch, aside from Becky and Seth, has been the United States Championship picture, and the title is currently held by suspended superstar Andrade. While Andrade's been off serving his suspension, lookalike Angel Garza has been filling in for him and being all Mexican and sexy. Unfortunately for Charlotte Flair's fiance, Sports Illustrated is now reporting that his days as champion are numbered. Interestingly, his suspension expires on February 27th, the same day he's scheduled to compete in a gauntlet match at Super Showdown, with the winner taking home the two-wake trophy, whatever that is. But I think it's probably competed over 4 tracks in a Mario Kart Grand Prix. Paul Heyman reportedly made the decision to keep the belt on Andrade rather than making him drop it to Humberto Carrillo. Andrade is one of Heyman's reported favorites that he is very keen on pushing on Monday nights, so this slight favoritism towards the former NXT champion may have saved his skin slightly. I mean, it probably helps to be in engaged to Charlotte Flair too. Andrade has been champion for a little over a month and a half, but WWE does have a tendency to change the US champion on a pretty frequent basis. In 2019, there were 8 different United States champions, and if this report is to be believed, 2020 could be another year of change for the Star-Spangled Strap. Try saying that 5 times fast. It isn't clear whether the suspension has got anything to do with the report, but historically people have been punished for violating the company's wellness policy, unless you're called Roman Reigns, in which case it's fine. Though he did lose clean to Seth Rollins upon his return, so there's that. Free wrestling stuff alert! Thanks to the wonderful people over at WrestleCrate. If you go to WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the promo code WrestleTalk, you'll get 3 authentic photographed portraits inside your first box when you take out a subscription, including one from Ollie and Luke. WrestleCrate is a monthly mystery box full of loads of wrestling goodies, which has items from the biggest promotions in wrestling. And we can exclusively reveal that next month's crate will have a Jon Moxley item. Ooh. Have some huge WrestleMania plans been scrapped? Press the video to the right to find out more, and press the video below that to find out more about Vince McMahon potentially withdrawing from WWE. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell. That was wrestling.